This happened when I was 17. It was late October, and my parents had gone to visit my grandparents for the weekend. I had midterms, so I stayed home alone. We lived in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town, the kind of place where the nights are so silent you can hear your own thoughts. But that weekend, the silence was broken. That Friday night, I finished my homework around 11. After some noodles and a few videos, I decided to head to bed. But just as I was drifting off around midnight, I started hearing noises from downstairs. Not loud, just faint thuds like someone was slowly moving furniture. At first, I dismissed it. It was an old house, pipes rattle, wood settles. But then I heard a sound that was impossible to ignore, the distinct click of the front door latch. I froze. My bedroom lights were off, and I just lay there, listening. The silence that followed was somehow even more terrifying. I grabbed my phone and texted my mom, asking if they'd come home early. No reply. I tried to calm myself down, thinking maybe it was just the wind, even though I knew the door was locked. After a few minutes of agonizing silence, I forced myself to go downstairs and check. Keeping my phone's flashlight beam low, I crept down the stairs. Everything looked normal. The living room was empty, the kitchen was still. But then, my light caught something on the floor near the front door. Small, wet, barefoot footprints. They led from the entryway, stopped halfway across the living room carpet, and then just vanished. My heart hammered against my ribs as I flipped on all the lights. I searched everywhere, every room, every closet, even under the couch. The house was completely empty. But the footprints were real. They were small, maybe a child's size, but smeared, as if someone had been trying to move silently. That night, I slept with my bedroom door locked and a chair wedged under the handle. Sleep didn't come easy. The next day, I called my parents and told them what happened. They told me to call the police if it happened again, but I could hear the skepticism in their voices. They thought I was just spooked from being alone. Saturday night was worse. Much worse. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to a sound right outside my bedroom door. It was breathing. Not heavy, but soft and controlled, like someone trying to listen. I sat bolt upright in my bed, not daring to make a sound. The chair under the doorknob let out a faint creak, and the breathing stopped instantly. I waited in the suffocating silence, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. Then I saw something slide under my door. A small piece of paper, folded. My hand was shaking as I aimed my phone light at it. It was a scrap torn from a notebook. Written on it in shaky handwriting were 3 words. Don't lock it. I've never felt a fear so absolute. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't let whoever was out there know I was awake. I dialed 911 and whispered what was happening to the operator. She told me to stay quiet and stay on the line while she dispatched a unit. As I waited, I heard footsteps again, this time moving away from my door and down the stairs. When the police arrived, the house was empty. They found the back door slightly ajar and muddy footprints in the yard. But this time, there were 2 sets of prints, one small and one much larger. They searched the woods behind our house, but found nothing. The officers insisted I stay with a friend for the night. The next morning, I went back to grab some clothes. One of the officers was still there, doing a final sweep. He called me over to the side of the house. There, scratched into the paint, right below my bedroom window, were the same 3 words from the note. Don't lock it. That was 2 years ago. We moved not long after that incident. I still lock every door, every window, no matter where I am. But sometimes, late at night, I'll wake up and swear I see my doorknob twitch, just slightly, as if someone is testing it from the other side. And in those moments, I can still hear those words echoing in my head. Don't lock it. I worked the night shift at a hospital just outside of town. It's a quiet job for the most part. My shift usually wraps up around midnight, and then it's about a 40-minute drive home. The route is mostly empty back roads, cutting through dark woods. It's the kind of drive where the silence is so deep it feels like a presence. I've driven it hundreds of times. I thought I knew every single bend, every stray light from a distant farmhouse, every pothole that rattled my old car. But one Friday night, late in October, something was different. I left the hospital a little after midnight. A storm had passed through earlier, leaving behind a thick cold mist that hung low over the road, swallowing the beams of my headlights. To keep myself from drifting off, I cracked the window, letting the chilly air bite at my face. About 15 minutes into the drive, I noticed them, a pair of bright white headlights in my rearview mirror. They appeared out of nowhere, emerging from the fog like two searching eyes. At first, I figured it was just someone in a hurry, trying to pass. But the car just stayed there, hovering, perfectly matching my speed. It didn't take long for the feeling to shift from annoyance to unease. Every turn I made, they followed. Every time I adjusted my speed, they mirrored me. It felt intentional, like a game I didn't want to play. I decided to test my theory. I took a sharp, random turn onto a smaller, unpaved road I barely knew. A shortcut to nowhere. Surely they wouldn't follow me down here, but they did. The headlights swung around the corner right behind me. My stomach plunged. A cold dread washed over me as I realized I was being hunted. I didn't have any kind of weapon, and a quick glance at my phone showed a single, blinking red bar of battery. I was on my own. I pressed on, my eyes darting between the road ahead and the glaring lights in my mirrors. My hands were slick with sweat on the steering wheel. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, the lights vanished. Just gone. I squinted into the rearview mirror, but all I saw was the inky blackness of the road behind me, swallowed by the fog. A moment of relief was quickly replaced by confusion. Where did they go? I'd pushed the accelerator, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. I just wanted to get home. Then, after a few seconds that felt like an eternity, I saw something in the road ahead, a shape materializing out of the mist. A figure, standing right in the middle of my lane. I slammed on the brakes, my tires screeching on the wet pavement as the car skidded to a stop. The person just stood there, completely still, facing my car. Through the swirling fog, I could make out the silhouette of a tall man in a long, dark coat. His face was a pale, indistinct blur. I laid on the horn, a long, desperate blast that echoed through the silent woods. He didn't even flinch. My mind was racing. Reverse. Turn around. Get out of here. Just as I was about to throw the car into gear, those same blinding white headlights flared to life again, this time right behind me. The car was back. It had crept up silently while I was frozen, distracted by the figure in the road. I was trapped. The man in front, the car behind. There was nowhere to go. Then the figure started walking toward my car. Slowly, methodically. That's when instinct took over. I jammed the car into reverse and stomped on the gas, praying I wouldn't spin out or hit a tree. I didn't dare look back. I just drove, heart hammering, until I finally hit the main highway and saw the comforting glow of other cars. When I finally risked a look in the mirror, there was nothing. No headlights, no mysterious car. Just the empty road disappearing into the fog. As soon as I got home, my hands still shaking, I called the police. They went out to search the area, but found nothing. No car, no man, no tracks. The strangest part? They checked the dash cam footage from my car. It only showed one vehicle on that road, mine. There were no headlights behind me. There was no man standing in the road. There was just the sound of my own frantic breathing and something else, almost too quiet to hear. A low whisper in the recording, a voice that wasn't mine, saying, "Don't stop next time." When I was 16, my family moved into this old 2-story house that had been empty for years. My bedroom was at the end of the upstairs hall, and it was pretty cozy, except for this one air vent right next to my bed. Every night, when the house was dead silent, I'd hear these faint whispers coming from it. At first, I thought I was just imagining things, but the sounds got clearer. I told my parents, but they just said it was old pipes. One night, I couldn't sleep. I was just on my phone when I heard it again, but this time, I could actually make out words. It whispered my name twice, and then it said, "Come down." I froze. I heard footsteps downstairs, and then a scraping sound against the wall. I hid under my bed, terrified. The next morning, my dad checked the vent, but he came back looking pale. He said the vent was a dummy, it wasn't connected to anything. It was sealed shut behind the wall. We moved out soon after. The new owners later found a small, hidden space behind that wall with a sleeping bag and a broken recorder. Someone had been living inside the walls, whispering through the vent, just waiting.